Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television live from Lagos. The military says that insurgents who were sent packing from Dekwa in Borno State last week converted an abandoned chemistry laboratory at the College of Agriculture in the town to a bomb-making factory. The spokesperson for the army, Colonel Sani Usman, who confirmed this, said the troops from the 7th Division discovered the laboratory during a mop-up operation after sacking the insurgents from the area. He said various other equipment and weapons used by the sect members in the activities were also recovered during the operation, including a welding machine as well as 9 detectors. Our correspondent Blessing Tuna is online from Maiduguri. Well, Blessing, what more do we know about this situation?
Yeah, a supposed bomb-making factory was found in the abandoned Park campus of the College of Agriculture here in Borno State. Earlier in the week, spokesperson of the 7th Division, Maiduguri, Colonel Suku Gusau, said a training center for Boko Haram recruits was discovered at the Emir's Palace, which has also been looted and used by the insurgents as a transit camp before they were dislodged. And also 30 of their captives, mostly women and children, were equally rescued and evacuated to Maiduguri as the army continues its mop-up operations in the area and surrounding towns.
So, Blessing, now that we have this situation there, what do you expect that the military will be doing next?
Well, the military has continued in some offensive operations in some of those villages where we still have pockets of attacks, and the insurgents keep getting dislodged, and the military has been gaining a lot of victories, and then those that have been held captive evacuated to Maiduguri. Even some days back, we had 59 persons from nearby Konduga here that were evacuated and brought here to Maiduguri. So we expect to see more of such victories.
Blessing, we're going to have to leave it at that. Many thanks indeed. Our reporter, Blessing Tuno, talking to us from Borno State. Nigeria's Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says that the federal government will look into the possibility of incorporating the Kano-adopted Borno children into the presidential initiative for internally displaced persons. The Vice President was speaking during a visit to the 100 children adopted by the Kano State government. He says the federal government will not relent in its efforts to assist the affected victims of Boko Haram insurgency in the country. Our correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that the state's IDP camps have been transformed into a primary school with boarding facility to be managed by the Ministries of Women Affairs and Education.
So many other children who are still there in the IDP who require this same sort of attention actually. And I can just say that I definitely will go back and think through this and propose to Mr. President one way or the other that we can assist in ensuring the education of the children. I'm sure you're familiar with the PINE, which is the Presidential Initiative for the Northeast, now to be headed by General T.Y. Gatima. He is going to supervise the entire operation. There's an education component in it, there's a rehabilitation component, the building of infrastructure and all of that. So I think that we are well on the way to doing very well.
Now, the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Solomon Arase, has been clearing the air on why he ordered the removal of police checkpoints upon his assumption of office. Mr. Arase believes that such roadblocks encourage corruption among some of his men who collect bribes from commuters on the highway. According to him, the act reduced officers of the police to mere beggars.
This is one of the routine visits of the Inspector General of Police to commands in order to hold security briefs with the commissioners. But before going into security meeting with the police chiefs in the Federal Capital Territory, the police boss took time to explain why he ordered the removal of checkpoints when he assumed office.
I have articulated most of my policy thrust, since I'm an assumption of duty. First and foremost, you all know that I have a zero tolerance for corruption, and that is why we decided to remove the roadblocks. Because even the money you collect at the roadblocks, to me, they don't translate to anything. It's like collecting arms, as if you are beggars. And for a police force that is the largest in Africa, that has distinguished itself in all international engagements, you should be able to carry yourself with a lot of pride and honor that you actually deserve.
Mr. Arache also emphasized the need for officers to carry out their duties professionally.
I believe in human rights-driven policing. What do I mean by that? I believe that, you cannot abridge the human rights of Nigerians. Nigerians are your brothers who were all civilians before we joined the police force, and we all look forward to someday retiring and becoming civilians again. So you must be very, very careful that when in the conduct of your official assignments, that you don't arrest people except you have sufficient evidential proof.
Earlier, the FCT Commissioner of Police, Mr. Wilson in Allege, appealed to his boss to create more commands within the FCT. According to him, the current population of the Capital Territory has overstretched the numbers of commands in the FCT.
I want to recommend that we create two additional area commands be approved for FCT. And this includes Agikaru area command to comprise of Nyanya, Karu, Jikwe, and Karushi, because we have a large population there. And also to have either life camp of Gwarimpa division to comprise of life camp Mabushi and life camp itself. This will help to bring service of police closer to the people.
The Inspector General of Police has made similar visits to Lagos, Anambra and Plateau states recently to hold security meetings with their commissioners.
Aggrieved workers of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, have called for the resignation of the party's National Working Committee because of an alleged mismanagement of the party's resources, an accusation which the party's publicity secretary has refuted. The secretary of the party's Staff Welfare Unit told journalists at the press conference in Abuja that the party's National Working Committee squandered 12 billion naira realized during the electioneering period. They are also protesting against a circular from the National Working Committee asking the workers to get new recommendation letters from the states and local government's chairman.
The general elections have been over 4 months ago, and the People's Democratic Party has tried very hard to put its house together even after losing the elections. While the National Working Committee, at several briefings in the past, told journalists that they are working towards restructuring the party, the workers are aggrieved over an alleged mismanagement of resources. They are accusing the party of squandering 12 billion naira in 9 months and also diverting party's funds to a private account.
In the last few days, the staff of the Secretariat were confronted by an ill-digested and childish circular written by Professor Wale Oladipo, which summarily terminated their appointments. It is curious to observe that a party which once prided itself as the biggest party in Africa could be so liquidated by such executive recklessness of its NWC members. So much that 12 billion naira was squandered in 9 months. Party members will need to know why delegates were compelled to pay the sum of 10,000 naira each into a private account of a company called Morufi Nigeria Limited. We are aware that over 1 billion naira was realized from this fraudulent exercise.
But the party's National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Olisa Metuh, refuted those allegations.
The truth is that the NWC has really done nothing wrong in this. We're a political party, and we receive petitions from our states about the loyalty, questioning loyalty of some of our staff. And the NWC merely requested our staff to go to their states and get letters, obtain letters and recommendations from their state organs. and the local government organs to ensure that we are working with people who are committed to us. It's a question of trying to stop us, detract us, and stop us from focusing on what we're doing. So if there is any investigation that they want, they can investigate the affairs of the National Working Committee. I have no problem with that. I'm not even a signatory. If they want, but they can zero in on the National Public Secretary. I challenge the originators of this idea to cause an investigation into the office of the National Public Secretary or his affairs or businesses or any dealings with the government whatsoever.
The PDP lost out during the presidential elections to the All Progressive Congress. Since then, the party's leadership say they are repositioning for 2019.
Well, I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by the People's Democratic Party Publicity Secretary, Mr. Olisa Metuh, to shed more light on this brewing crisis that we're looking at. I want to thank you so much indeed for joining us on the news at 10. Let me start by asking you very point blank. We understand that 12 billion naira was made from the sales of election forms. Is this true?
Well, in the same way that we heard that some minister squandered, or rather made $6 billion from the last administration. Figures are being bandied around, but I am not the National Financial Secretary, I am not the National Treasurer. I don't keep records of our finances, but I must tell you that we did raise a lot of money during our campaign. Normally, every 4 years, PDP raises money during sale of forms. Same with APCA, same with APC. This money sustains the party for the next 4 years until when you have such opportunity to.
So how much money did you raise for this time around, for the 2015 elections?
For the first time in history, we sponsored all the gubernatorial elections this period. I don't have the exact figures of what was raised and what was spent, but the custodians of the finances of the party will be able, or the signatories will be able to answer that. But for me, I don't think the issue is about the finances of the party. What is on trial is not the administration of the party. What is on trial is what we've been raising about the democratic decay in our system right now. The fact that the appointment in DSS, appointment in INEC, to get some people within us to start saying this is very diversionary. I think this is not about the MWC, this is about the National Public Secretary. It's about me and what I've been raising in the press on behalf of the party. So they're welcome to it. We won't be diverted. We are focused on what we are asking.
My apologies. Let me just interject there. Now, your workers have insisted that the National Working Committee should resign. How concerned are you about this coming from your workers? How concerned are you?
How concerned will John Momo be if workers of channels request that he should resign?
You tell me how concerned you are.
For the PDP, we are definitely not concerned. We are completely on the top. If they are loyal workers and they are really committed to our party, I mean, the drama that they are doing is not. But most of them are still responsible people. So we are completely confused, astonished, amused, and amazed as to what is happening. And we still don't know what is happening. We want to find out exactly what is happening and who are the people that are pushing it from outside.
Mr. Metuh, I'd like to let you know that this allegation has nothing to do with Channels Television. It's against you and your party based on fraud. So I would like you to answer again. There are allegations that part of the party funds is paid into a private account. Is this true?
Well, the truth is that we have what they call SPV, Special Purpose Vehicle. When we sold forms, we agreed that to separate the forms that were the delegate form and the other ones, that delegate form should be paid into a special purpose vehicle. The company is owned by PDP. It's a special purpose vehicle that PDP raised, and even in South Africa, you have companies that you own. PDP owns that company, and we separated it from the other forms that were paid into PDP accounts, and we advertised. There's nothing hidden about it. Go to the papers, we advertise the company.
So, Olisa Metuh, I'm afraid that's where we're going to have to end it. I want to thank you so much indeed for sharing your thoughts with us. The National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Mr. Olisa Metuh. And when the news at 10 returns, commercial banks reject US dollar deposits. That's on Business News. Join us again.